How's it going, guys? Welcome back to part 4 of my W126 build, and we left off with transmission fluid all over the ground after putting that hood stack in. So that is absolutely amazing, but we can't go anywhere, so we can't really test it out till we figure out what happened. I already got under the car, and sure enough, it was the transmission cooler line that is completely rotted and fallen apart. Got one coming in, should be here today. We're gonna go ahead and get that put back in. And also, I mentioned this on the last video, but this car, when I got it, had issues shifting, and I kind of had suspicion that it could be vacuum lines or the shifter cable. So we're gonna dive into that, see if we can resolve that after we get that cooler line put in, get our levels up to where they need to be. And we're gonna take this thing for a ride. If we've got enough time, we might start on the next part of this, or at least clean out the car really well and start putting some stuff back in it. So let's see where we can get to. Let's see if we can get this thing running good, get it shifting good, so we can keep moving on, having some fun with this car. So while we're waiting on that hose line to arrive, I went ahead and took a look at all my vacuum lines, the ones kind of coming off of this module here from the transmission cable, and they lead out different directions. The ones that come down here, the little rubber attachments, are pretty much deteriorated, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap those out. In fact, this one down here was pretty much falling out, so that could have been causing a problem. Of course, our transmission cooler line having a big hole in it, losing fluid, could have also been causing issues. That would actually create a vacuum leak as well. All the other vacuum lines that kind of lead off of here and go down to the transmission all look really good. I did get under the car and check the vacuum lines going to the transmission. Those didn't have any cracks in them. Everything looked really good down there. I might get down there one more time just to kind of look around a little bit more, but I didn't see anything obvious. And none of these lines over here that kind of come off of it, they all look great. So all the lines that are leading all different directions that could affect the transmission shift look like they're good. So I'm gonna go with just swapping these ones out for now and then get under the car and see if I see anything else that just stands out. So let's go ahead and get that swapped out, and hopefully that transmission line shows up and we can get that put in. All right, guys, so the new hose came in and it looks really good. It looks way better than the old one. It's got this kind of wire surrounding it. It is made in Germany, and it was very inexpensive, like $20 plus shipping, somewhere around there. I got it from Auto House AZ, and I didn't realize they were based in Florida, so it shipped out very fast, and the brand is Rain. So I've used this brand before for some other things. So let's go ahead, I'll throw that in. Now, while I was waiting for this to come in, I went ahead and cleaned down the fuse box up front here, cleaned down all the fuses, and I got some other things working on the inside. So still don't have power windows working on 3 of the windows, so we'll probably have to crack open the door panels and play around with those, maybe have to swap out a motor or two, because I definitely need those working. And my blinkers aren't working, so I'm gonna play around with that. But I also opened up the trunk because I forgot what was in here. And it was kind of cool because there's a bunch of interior pieces in here, but mainly the door pillars. So I want to get all of this interior really cleaned out nicely, even though it is looking good in here since we did do a lot of stuff in here originally. But the little pieces that go on the pillars here, they're in the trunk, so we'll clean those up, put them back in. Everything else is looking pretty darn clean in here. It is not a perfect car by any means, but a fairly clean car for a car that's been sitting, especially in Florida heat. So we'll jump into a lot of that. I'm not going to record putting this in because it's fairly easy, and I'm going to be down there where I really can't record much. So I'm going to throw this in now, and then we'll jump into some other things and hopefully take this thing for a ride very shortly to see if this fixes our transmission kind of slip into, I think, second gear. Like I said, I haven't really driven this. I kind of took it down the road a little bit, and I did notice that it did want to kind of slip if I floored it. And there's a lot of things that could create that. Number one being low on fluid, bad fluid, or that cable that I mentioned that's broken. But the way that it's broken on this car, it doesn't seem like it would affect it, but I could be completely wrong. So that'll be the last step because you got to take the transmission pan down to change that out. So hopefully this fixes it. So let's get this in here and test it out. So guys, after I got the transmission fluid up to level, I went ahead and rotated my cars around, and after backing this up and coming forward a little bit, I noticed the transmission just felt a lot better. I did not take it on a drive, and that's because we've got other issues we need to look at before we can take this thing on a drive. Number one, I noticed that when I had my battery pack hooked up to jump start it, the battery pack was just drawing down as I was idling. And sure enough, I went ahead and got my voltmeter, and we are not getting any charge to the battery. So we've got to figure out if it's the alternator or the voltage regulator. So if you're unfamiliar with these alternators specifically, but most alternators in general, they have a voltage regulator with brush packs that generally wear out before the alternator. So this alternator happens to be very easy to access. It is right there. And the voltage regulator is right on the back side. I actually put it back in there to kind of show you how easy it is to access. So that little black knob with the white outer shell, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out because I've already done that. And it is a Bosch, so it might be an original. I already went ahead and ordered one in. The brush packs do not look super worn. I've seen ones that are way more worn than this, but I'm really hoping this is our issue because these are like 20 bucks versus buying a whole new alternator. And we're just fortunate that this is very easy to access on this car. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out first before we can take this on a ride. Well, I mean, I could take it on a ride, but I've got a few other things to do, and by the time that comes in, we'll be finishing off those. Number two, I definitely want to change out our differential fluid just because it feels really strange in the back. And I almost feel like the emergency brake's on or something like that, and as I'm backing up, I can kind of feel like some resistance. And I don't know if that's coming from the differential or the brakes, so we're gonna go ahead and swap the fluid out. Hopefully there is some in there. And we're also gonna kind of get the car up in the air and spin our tires and see if we're getting locked up on anything. I do have some different rims on the back. Actually, that is the spare for here, so that is the correct rim. But I have a different one on here. So I don't know if I accidentally threw on some longer lug nuts, which I don't think I did with that spare. But those things can cause issues as well. So we'll just take a look at everything. But right now, let's go ahead and get that differential fluid and see what it looks like. And then we'll just dive into the interior once we're able to take this thing around the block a little bit and kind of finish off the video there. And hopefully we've resolved quite a bit of issues. Oh, also on the alternator side of things, I noticed if I had the jump pack on there, there's a few of the instrument panel things that are working, and if I take it off, they stop working. So hopefully some of the other electronics that we've been trying to get working start working once this alternator is charging the battery, because that will actually cause issues as well. So let's jump onto that differential fluid, see what that looks like, and then move forward from there. All right, so you've got your fill right here and your drain right here. They're actually not that big of a difference in height, ironically. A lot of times I see like the fill plugs are way up here, so it probably doesn't take a ton of fluid. But I've got to clean this drain one out, make sure I've got the right tool, because I do have a bunch of these type of tools specifically for the W126 when I had my old one, and that one's going to fit there. I thought so because I had this set up for my old W126, and it is the same size for the drain. Now I'm going to go ahead and crack the fill first, and I'll show you guys what this fluid looks like. But I'm going to crack that open, and then if this opens up, we'll go ahead and crack open our drain and let that fluid out and take a look at it. All right, I got this cracked loose. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first. Now, if this has new or fresh fluid, I'm probably not going to change it out. And that plug looks awesome. That's good news. Now, let's see how much fluid's in there. I'm actually going to use my hand without the glove just so I can see what the fluid looks like if there is fluid in there. Oh yeah, I definitely felt some fluid. Oh yeah. And that actually looks pretty fresh, to be honest, and it's definitely up to level. So as soon as I put my finger in there, I felt it. Let's go ahead and smell it. Yeah, it does not smell burnt, just smells like your normal gear oil. So that was probably changed out more recently. Not gonna even mess around with that because there's no point right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get this side lifted up in the air and see if we can hear that noise, because I think it's coming from this side, and it just sounds like something that's getting bound up. So hopefully it's just a piece of metal we gotta bend back. Or if maybe the e-brake got stuck or something like that. So let's get this side up in the air and see if we can see anything and get that fixed up. It is hot out here, guys, but I think I've resolved what's going on here. So I went ahead and jacked up this side because I thought the noise was coming from over here, but spinning this, it spins nice and freely. But when I go in reverse, it binds up. And I'm not super savvy when it comes to differentials and gearing and all that, but I think when you hit a certain point, it'll spin the other side. So I went ahead and jacked up our passenger side, and now the car's in neutral. But I do want to point out that the gear shifter doesn't have the lock on it, so I can actually, with no key in it, put it into any of the gears. Now that's pretty normal when somebody breaks those lockouts, so that's probably what happened there. But let me go ahead and try to get in here to show you guys this. But this tire is pretty much locked up, but if I got a crowbar on here, a pry bar, I was able to get it to spin. So I think our caliper is frozen up a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this tire off and work on freeing that caliper, and hopefully that fixes our problem. And that's probably what's happening here, is it's binding up. That's why it felt kind of weird going into reverse and trying to move the car, because I think our back brake was just locking up. Should be pretty easy to unfreeze because this car hasn't been sitting for a very long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now and fill you guys in if I find anything else out. This thing was very crusty, but ironically, our bleeder looks fairly new. And I went ahead and opened up our bleeder. No fluid came out, but I went ahead and pressed it and fluid came out. It was actually fairly clean, but this thing is definitely stuck. I was able to hit it with a rubber mallet, and you can see all the crap that fell down, but I am able to spin this rotor now. Not with one hand, obviously, but it is a little bit more freed up now. But I think I need to get this thing apart and lubricate everything, kind of bang it around, make sure nothing's getting caught up in there, because it looks like the pads are still actually pretty good, and the rotor itself doesn't have crazy grooves in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can save this and still be able to take this thing for a ride very shortly. Jeez. Okay, it's breaking free. Look at that nastiness. Well, guys, as you saw there, that rear passenger side brake caliper was just shot. There was almost no way I could free it up. I broke 2 clamps trying to get it broken free and finally decided it's not worth it. So I ended up tying it up down there. I'll show you guys. And kept it hooked up so that I wouldn't lose brake fluid, because I still have great brakes on this car. And I took it for a ride, and I am so excited to say this thing rode absolutely beautiful. It is not slipping anymore. It shifted great. It actually had great acceleration, and there was nothing getting caught up in the rear. Now, there is a little bit of noise coming from the rear, and I know the CV axle boots on there are kind of dry rotted, and I know that those have a tendency on all the Benzes to go bad, and you got to replace like the bearing part of that. It's a difficult job, but it's not too expensive to do it. I might just replace the entire CV axles on both sides down the road, but I went ahead and tied the brake rotor up, like I said, right there, just to take it for a test drive, and it held up, and the brakes still worked great. So I was very excited about that, and I'm just excited that this car is running beautiful, and I'm gonna be able to daily drive this probably in a very short time, and it makes me excited about moving on to doing some of the more cosmetic style stuff to this car again. So we're gonna slam this definitely on the next video. Let's dive now into getting some of this interior stuff put back in, cleaning it up, and then we'll take it for a ride on this video so you guys can get an idea of how it's driving down the road, how cool that stack looks as it's pouring out a little bit of smoke, nothing crazy, and just the sounds of it as you're going down the road. So we'll do that before the end of this video, but I'm gonna jump in the trunk, get those parts out that I want to put on the inside, and I think I'll do another video a little bit down the road where we really clean up the inside, fix some of the other broken pieces, and make that inside just kind of have that fun vintage look to it. We're not going to go crazy trying to replace a lot of things, just cleaning up things. So let's dive in and get some of that done now, because like I said, I had those parts in the trunk from the original owner that we can put in the inside, those pillars, and a couple other things we can take a look at. Guys, it's getting dark, but I just found another bag of goodies in the trunk. So these are actually the seatbelt covers. And there was a piece down there that I was missing on the driver's side right there. A couple other parts in there. So I'll be putting that in tomorrow. But you can see I got the pillar up, and obviously the piece missing goes in here. So it should be easy just to pop these back off, put that piece in, put all this back. But overall, very shocked at how nice this interior is, and that little hanging in the back I'm gonna definitely fix on an up and coming video. The center console wood just started to peel back, but what's cool about this is the wood under here is great. So I'm gonna try to refinish this just using basic stuff. So I'm gonna go down to Lowe's and probably do like a polyurethane or one of those bar pours and see what we can come up with for that on the upcoming video. But one of the coolest things is I charged this battery up. Now we still don't have a working alternator because I'm waiting on the part to come in. Turn on the lights, and our rear lights work. Those ones always work, but the headlights were not working. And now I've got that one, my corner lights, and this one. Oh, earlier I was tapping on it and I got it to come on. So I know it's just a bulb or a connection issue. And now that this one's working, it could be a connection issue as well. So I'm gonna clean all the connectors on this down to now just my blinker's not working. So this is becoming better and better. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, it's the brights that are working. Okay, so it is the bulbs. Yep, so that's the brights. All right, so it's just a replacement of the bulbs up front. So what I'm gonna do is finish off that interior tomorrow, probably zoom through steam cleaning the whole inside out just to kind of get that out of the way. So it's a little bit safer to be in there because there was mold that got in there, and I'm thinking it's from the sunroof leaking because it wasn't a ton of, there's no water in the car, but there was like a humidity in there from over the summer where it got a little bit of water in there. And my guess is the sunroof probably leaked down in there because I can't see anywhere else that could have gotten water in. And then we'll go ahead and take this for a ride to end the video. So let's kind of skip forward to that. Guys, for the most part, I got the pillars installed. I'm still trying to figure out that bottom piece there, but this one was a hell of a job because the seatbelt was actually twisted on the other side, and I believe that's why they took the pillars off, because nothing would spring back in. Once I was able to get that twisted part out and realign everything, it's working great. So the seatbelt itself is working great, the pillars installed, and we got a lot of work to do on this interior, but nothing absolutely crazy, and we're gonna save that for another episode where we clean the outside, the inside, and that'll probably be towards the final. Good news, ironically, I didn't realize Parts Geek and Auto House are located in Florida, so parts came in so fast. This piece here is going to be going into the alternator, so the voltage regulator. I'm going to put that in right now. The brake, I haven't set myself up to do this yet, so I'll be doing that in between episodes, but very, very nice part here that came in, so I'm excited about putting that in, and I'm probably gonna be regretting getting the other side with this, but we'll tackle that when it comes up, because right now the rest of the braking system is working really well, and we're gonna take this on a ride so you guys can kind of see how it drives, and you'll see it does stop very well. So let's pop this in. This is from Hella, so it's not a Bosch, but it is a Hella, pretty good product, very well-known brand. I'll pop this in and see if that fixes our alternator issue. If not, then we'll tackle that on another video, but we're still gonna take this thing for a ride. So let's get this in. You can see it's 12.5 before we start it. Let's go ahead and start it up and see what we have. So it's actually going up as I'm sitting. So I guess it might be charging, but I would think we'd be showing higher volts, but it showed 12.6 and then 12.7 and 12.8. Now I walked over here and it's showing 12.95, and I'm guessing if I rev it, it's going to go up. So we may have fixed it. we'll keep an eye on that, obviously. I'm gonna drive it around and we'll test it out, but let's go for a ride. Let's let this thing warm up and I'll pull it out. All right, guys, I'm so excited. The alternator's definitely working. All of the gauges, we've got our RPM gauge working finally. The fuel gauge was bouncing around and is finally stabilized, so I feel comfortable with that. Our oil pressure gauge is going up and down the way it should, and the temperature gauge is going properly. So all the gauges now seem to be functioning completely right. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse. Now you might have noticed that the hood is not all the way down, and you might have noticed in past videos the same thing. That's because the battery that I have in there was one of the few batteries I had that was fairly new and had really good charge. So I've been using that, but it is slightly too tall. So I'm gonna be putting my other battery back in there now that I know the alternator's working, because I couldn't figure out why the battery kept dying on me, and obviously no alternator will do that. And this thing is backing out perfectly. All right, I am so excited about this. Oh yeah, it definitely has great throttle response. Brakes completely fine. Let me go ahead and set you guys up so I can take a nice drive and focus on the driving. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put it in drive. Oh yeah, this thing, the throttle response is great. There's no hesitation. There's no feel of it doesn't want to go. You can see we're not getting crazy smoke out of that stack, but just enough to look really cool. All right, we got room to pull out, so we're gonna pull out so you guys can hear this and you can feel the shifts. So a little bit of a hesitation going from second to third, but it definitely shifted way better than it was, and I think it may need a little bit more fluid in there. When I tested it, when I checked it, I don't think I was fully up the temperature, and it was a little low, but nothing crazy. It was right just under where it needed to be. Yeah, and this is feeling great. I mean, I feel like transmission, throttle response, everything is reacting the way it should. And that noise. Man, I wish I could roll the window down for you guys. We'll definitely do another video where I can get this window down and you can hear it. Let me see if I can roll. If I roll this back window down and maybe get you guys outside to hear it. Let's see if I can roll. Well, guys, this video ended up being amazing for me. I couldn't be more excited. I'm going to be able to finally drive this car, probably daily drive this car within a couple of weeks. I just got to get the windows working. Not going to be super concerned about the AC for right now, but from what I know, all it needs is a compressor because there's no belt on it, but the fans work on the inside. I don't know if you guys could hear those, but I had the fans going while I was driving, and the alternator is now working. So that is absolutely amazing, and we resolved pretty much what our issue was with the car feeling like it was dragging. So it was obviously that frozen up brake caliper, and we've got a new one to put in. We've also got new brake lines, soft brake lines to put in. So I got quite a bit of work to do. We've got a lot of episodes coming out. Definitely gonna be slamming this car, probably putting some wheel spacers on it, and doing some more of the patina work to it. But overall, I think this car is so cool. It's definitely going to be a head turner, and it's not going to be for everyone. I already know that, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't watch these videos, but I love documenting this. I love doing this type of stuff, and even just the little bits that come up, it could help somebody else out there, like freeing up a brake caliper. I got these brake calipers off Parts Geek. It was very inexpensive. I want to say they were like $50 plus a core, so for like 60, 70 bucks shipped to me. I got a new brake caliper that looks absolutely amazing, so I'm excited about that. And this car is going to be a fun, safe car to drive, and a little bit of a head turner, and something I can enjoy just driving around and not worrying about. So once again, you guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video.